This is the Green Devil Spotlight segment where we will highlight 2 students in our community. During this segment, we interviewed Cooper Street and Tess Darrow.
So like to go to like the fun sports stuff that they have here. Science.
Hello.
I'm excited to go to math class. Probably the experiment that we just did. It was about evaporation. Free time. Playing our iPads. But it's dumb. I only QB sneak it like 2 times because that's our rule. Probably Russell Wilson. Because a bunch of people said he was too short to be good.
The Osage School District has been working hard on getting computer science classes available for all students. We got to speak with the superintendent, Barb Shaman, to hear a little bit about the available computer science classes. Barb will also be talking about her CSTA award she earned a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was an outstanding trip, so it was twofold. The school did not have to pay for anything. I was able to fly to Seattle, Washington for Computer Science Kickoff Week, and that was paid for by Code.org, and got to hear Melinda Gates and Bradley Smith, the CEO of Microsoft, speak, and got to kick off Computer Science Week. Then they flew me to Chicago, and in Chicago they had the Computer Science Teachers of America Award, and that's where I was able to receive the award, and that was held at the Google headquarters in Chicago. And that was just a neat opportunity to see Google and all of the branding and how tight their security is, and just to learn more about computer science and what other school districts are doing. So it was a great award, but it's also because of the work of all of our teachers. Our teachers and our staff have all been trained with a lot of computer science classes, and Mrs. Molitor, Mr. Kyle, Mr. Meyer, there's all been a lot of people that have worked really hard on this to make this happen. So we're proud of all of our teachers and our students who are trying it. We're hoping to expose every child to what coding is about and what computer science is about. We're hoping to give every kid an opportunity to learn more about it and to see if they like it or not. If you're not exposed to something, you don't know whether you like it or not. So again, that's our goal, is to expose them to what coding is about, how the programming works. We are adding an esports club. We had over 30 students sign up for an esports gaming club, and that's something that's catching on. They would compete against other kids in our conference and our AEA. Some of that's done virtually, and some of it's where you go and you're going head-to-head competition. So we're very excited about the opportunities, and we will continue to change as our needs change.
The Osage School District is excited to see where the computer science classes will be taking them in the future.
This year, Iowa State Dance Competition was the largest statewide dance competition in the nation with over 5,000 participants. The Iowa State Dance Competition was held on November 29th and 30th at the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. During the competition, teams get scored on appearance, choreography, content, execution, technique, general effect, and showmanship. This was only the second year that the Osage dance team has competed in the state competition. Last year they competed in Class 2 kick, placing second out of 12 teams. This year they competed in Class 2 kick and Class 7 palm. In both of these categories they received a Division I rating, which is the best division placing a team can receive. We interviewed Erica Nastrom for more details.
This year we competed in both palm and kick. We started learning both of our routines back in August. We practice every Sunday night from about 6 to 9. We start doing a few practices in July, throughout July and August, but we go hardcore towards the end of August through the beginning of November. Being a part of the ODT, it means a lot. It's a really cool experience since the dance team is still really new, and it's been awesome to be a part of it and to continue being a part of it and be a leader as a captain on it too. It's been a great experience. Our goals for this year were to go down and be state champs. We had some really tough competition this year, so that didn't really exactly turn out, but we performed very, very well, so I'm not disappointed. Next year, I'm gonna go in with the same goals of trying to be state champs, or at least to place in the top 3. So hopefully some hard work will make that happen.
This week we sat down with Matt Olson and Jay Marley to go behind the scenes of high school and middle school athletics. Matt Olson, a high schooler at Osage Community Schools, who has recently become a basketball official. Matt and the middle school athletic director and principal, Jay Marley, explained to us about high schoolers officiating and the art of officiating.
Sports, you only have to have one certified official. You can have a second official that does not take the rules test and the clinics and those types of things. And that's where we get those high school kids involved in being that second official and teaching them the proper etiquettes on how to officiate a game and then get them exposed to it. So we're trying to reach out and connect with kids that enjoy sports and are looking for another income. And so we're trying to get the younger group involved in that.
This is probably one of the best high school jobs you can get, I'd say. They just have trouble finding help to ref middle school basketball games, let alone high school JV varsity games.
At the middle school level, we are recruiting high school kids to officiate.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you don't see a lot, someone my age reffing basketball, but there's definitely a shortage of young refs in the area, definitely a shortage of any refs.
Matt Olson had some connections to teach him some tips and tricks of officiating. And Matt has played basketball and plans to get his officiating license this summer. He plans to continue officiating through high school and college. Jay also explained to us how to become an official.
Registration fee, and then you have to do an online rules meeting where it's a video that you watch, and then after the video you take a test.
You have to take it seriously, you have to know what you're doing, but if you know what you're doing, it's pretty easy. Yeah, I definitely encourage others, especially younger guys, not younger than me, but hey, if you know how to do it, it's definitely worth it.
Next, Jay explained to us how he chooses officials for games and the distance the average official will travel.
And then we work with the Officials Association on getting the officials for certain dates. At the middle school level, I don't rely on that 100%. Mr. Henson, our high school AD, relies on that almost 100% at the high school level. Middle school level, I have the opportunities to hire local officials. I would say most officials don't travel more than 100 miles from their home. Are there officials in the state of Iowa that go even farther than that? Absolutely.
Matt then explained to us some of his experiences from officiating.
Some coaches are harder on you than others, and they harp to you a little bit, and then you got the fans, and you know, the tight games are the worst. Those are, it gets your blood pressure going, but it's definitely changed my perspective on my views towards officials, even as I watch basketball. But as I played basketball, you know, I was kind of like, come on, call the foul, come on, this. Yeah, no, now as the official, it definitely gives you a different perspective, and as you're sitting in the stands and watching games, you're kind of like, yeah, I can see why they made that call. Yeah, that might have been a foul, but, you know, I don't think it's worth yelling at the ref. It's not too stressful, but, you know, there's some times where some of the players might think, oh, you can't do that, but, like, realistically, the rules say you can. But, yeah, just having people challenge you, that's probably the most difficult part.
Lastly, Matt told us what he has learned so far from being an official.
Be tough-skinned. That's definitely something that I've learned over the past couple. You got to be tough-skinned. You can't let people sway your decision, you know. Your call is the final call in the game, so stick with it.
So thanks for coming to Osage and coming and visiting Iowa Big up here. It's pretty exciting to have, you know, big names come up here and visit. So for our first question, so yesterday you had a meeting with Governor Reynolds about rural Iowa. So is there any things you can share about what went on in that meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here and hosting me in your community, and thanks for all the work that Iowa Big North is doing. I think it's a great example of a new type of education in the state of Iowa, and it's something that I know a lot of school districts would love to have the opportunity to do, and it's a model that hopefully we can scale statewide. Yes, yesterday we had a meeting of the Governor's Empower Rural Iowa initiative.
Okay.
You know, Governor and I are both products of small towns.
Yeah.
Governor grew up in the small town of St. Charles, which is in south central Iowa.
Okay.
I grew up in a little town called Haywarden in the far northwest corner of the state.
All right.
So we come from small towns. We were both educated in small public school districts. And we're very passionate about making sure that there's opportunity and prosperity available in every corner of our state. We're very excited about the opportunities that are in Des Moines, our capital city, and the surrounding suburbs, and some of the other big metro areas in the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
But if we truly want Iowa to thrive, we need to make sure that those same types of opportunities are available even in our small communities.
Yes,
And so that's what this initiative is all about.
So how does Iowa fix its workforce shortage?
Well, you're exactly right. Probably the biggest challenge that the state of Iowa faces is the fact that we have more jobs than we have people to fill them.
Yeah.
As problems go, that's a pretty good problem to have.
Yeah, definitely.
But it is a challenge because that means that every day there are literally tens of thousands of jobs that are sitting unfilled in the state of Iowa. Think of the economic productivity we're leaving on the table by allowing those jobs to remain vacant. So Governor has proposed, and the legislature passed unanimously, the Future Ready Iowa Act. And the Future Ready Iowa Act is all about putting money into workforce training and doing a better job of, frankly, what Iowa Big North is doing, making connections earlier and earlier in our students' education with the opportunities that are available in our state and helping them learn the skills that they need in order to be able to succeed in those roles.
Okay.
So the Future Ready Iowa initiative, it's a multi-year initiative. The bill passed last year, but there's still a lot of work to be done. There was some initial funding to go into things like apprenticeships, which is a great way for people to earn while they learn. Without taking on student debt, they're able to get the skills that they need to fill the jobs that are available. And for the employers that are involved, they've got a workforce that's trained in exactly the skills that they need, which is a great way for people to earn while they learn. Without taking on student debt, they're able to get the skills that they need to fill the jobs that are available. And for the employers that are involved, they've got a workforce that's trained in exactly the skills that they need. It's about making investments in community college programs. Probably the key part of the Future Ready Iowa Act is the Last Dollar Scholarship, which will allow students to make sure that cost isn't a barrier. If they're interested in pursuing a degree in a high demand field, we don't want cost to be a barrier to that. So, and the state will help out and make up the difference so that they can pursue their education. And so it's about rethinking our education system, rethinking our workforce training system, and making sure that they're better aligned so that we're connecting Iowans, young and mid-career, with the opportunities that are available. And so I think that's a great way that we can help solve that workforce challenge.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I guess what I'd like to point out is how connected, you mentioned the Governor's Empower Rural Iowa initiative. We talked about the workforce challenge.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that your viewers understand how connected those two things are.
Yeah.
It's important that we have prosperity in rural Iowa. Right now, there are more jobs than we have people to fill them. And so with the Governor's Empower Rural Iowa initiative, it fits right in with Future Ready Iowa. Yes, we need the workforce training to be able to make sure folks have the skills to fill those jobs. But you know what? In the Empower Rural Iowa initiative, we're looking at other quality of life issues, things like housing. If we want someone to move to this community or any other to take a job that's available, there's got to be decent housing that's available for them.
Definitely.
And that's a challenge in many of our small communities. If we want to attract young people to stay in rural Iowa or come back to rural Iowa, they absolutely have to be connected with broadband internet connections.
So here's your quick 5 questions.
Okay,
so,
I'm nervous. Okay,
yeah,
let's go. Let's
so,
do it.
what is your favorite food?
My favorite food is steak.
Steak.
No doubt about it.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm from Iowa, man.
Yeah,
that's
true. That's true.
And pork and eggs and
Yep.
and corn.
Sausage or pepperoni on your pizza?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
All right. Iowa or Iowa State?
You know, that's like the third rail, man. I'll be very honest. I'm an Iowa fan.
An Iowa fan.
Now, the governor
okay.
and I balance each other out pretty well because she's an Iowa
Yes.
State fan. But if I'm being honest, I grew up as a Hawkeye fan, and that's just who we are.
That's all right. So dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs. Yeah, me too. And then your last one here is, what is your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
I love it. You stuff yourself on Thursday, and then there's really nothing else going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so you can just kind of hang out. It's very low pressure. Christmas, I love Christmas. Don't get me wrong, but we have so many holiday parties with our family. It feels like we're going all the time.
Yeah.
And so Thanksgiving's just a little more laid back. You've got food, you've got football, you've got family. It doesn't get much better than that, in my opinion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you for
All right.
thank you for being here today. So
Thanks for having me on.
yeah, no problem.
I'm Joanne Wells, and welcome to Create.
Create is a local business on Main Street of Osage, Iowa.
Create is a creative space for everybody of all ages where you can come and do it yourself crafts, and we have classes where we paint and do a variety of crafts.
Joanne has owned Create for just over a year now, with the grand opening having been on November 16th, 2017.
I have been a crafter since I was really, really little. I can remember sitting at my mom's feet when she would be cutting fabric to sew, and I'd be picking up all those scraps and trying to make things. My husband accepted a job here in Osage. We were not from Osage, we moved from Michigan here, and we rented the apartment upstairs, and this space was empty, so Create was born.
To book a class, you can visit the Create Facebook page or stop by. The hours are very flexible. As Joanne says, if the lights are on and the door is unlocked, Create is open.
Now, I have a problem of getting the giggles every now and again, so.
Make sure you stop on by and create.
CCI is your professional flooring services. We do everything that has anything to do with flooring. We refinish hardwoods, carpet, tile, custom walk-in showers, jacuzzi tubs, vinyl, laminates, anything you can think of that goes on the floor, we do it. And then we do get into custom walls as well.
Gotcha. So how long have you been in business here at CCI in Osage?
In Osage?
Yep.
In Osage for about 8.5, be 9 years this October.
Alrighty. Do you have any other stores around the area?
We have a Leroy location.
Okay.
Been there for almost 20 years.
Gotcha. So how long have you been in business here?
Classic Carpets and Interiors was started by another fellow approximately 23 years ago and 22 years ago, and I've been in it for the 20 and a half years at this point. As far as myself, I've actually owned the business for 12 years now.
Awesome. So what makes CCI special here?
Custom installation, professionalism. We're not at the race to the bottom. We don't want to beat everybody on prices and keep cutting and cutting and cutting everything, because obviously we need so much per square foot to install a product.
Yep.
The only way you're going to get cheaper is by cheapening up the product. We like to keep quality product, and that ends up in a quality job, and it makes the customers happier.